It's time to throw away your coaching certifications because you do not need them to make money from your coaching business. In fact, I made over $530,000 without having to show anybody my credentials. So in this video, I'm going to show you 4 mistakes that actually stops 97% of coaches from ever making their first dollar, and what you need to do instead to get more clients and grow your coaching business. To start, let me show you the mistake that stops so many good coaches from growing their business and how we fixed it to help Jamie make £20,000 in just 2 months of working with us. But before any of this will make sense, I need to tell you a story. Have you ever seen The Karate Kid? An absolute classic. So there's Daniel, desperate to become the next karate ninja, and what does Mr. Miyagi have him doing? Wax on, wax off, over and over again. Daniel's losing the will to live. After all, he signed up for karate, not a career in car washing. So he's there thinking, is this some kind of joke? And when do I just get to kick someone in the face? So he's about 2 waxes away from throwing in the towel and the penny drops. And that's what actually turned him into a champion. Because if Daniel had tried to do a bit of waxing, a bit of fence painting, a bit of sanding, he'd have ended up with a half-finished garden and 0 karate skills. And more importantly, there would be no famous crane kick scene. And here's the thing, business is exactly the same. Most coaches dip their toes in every new strategy, simply getting distracted by every new hack or new funnel and anything else that's just new and exciting. But if you actually want real results, you have to pick one thing and stick with it for long enough to actually get good at it. And that's how Jamie generated £20,000 in just 8 weeks.
First 8 weeks of the program, I did about 20 grand pounds.
He didn't have some secret strategy. He just picked one niche and one offer and stuck with it and actually saw it through. So the first mistake is to not get diagnosed with shiny object syndrome. But there's another mistake that really winds me up every single time, and it stops you from getting your first handful of coaching clients. So let me tell you about someone that I bumped into, not once, not twice, but 3 times. Let's just call him John. So the first time that I see John, he's absolutely buzzing. Sean, I'm about to launch my coaching business. I'm just waiting for brand photos because, I want to look the part. Fair enough, I think. Well, after all, we all want a decent profile picture, I suppose. So a few weeks go by, I run into John again. John, how's the business going, bud? He sighs, nearly there, mate. Just a few tweaks to my website, got to get that homepage perfect before I go live, Sean. You know what it's like. Okay, fair enough. Now, another month passes. I see John for the 3rd time. John, you must be absolutely flying now, bud. He laughs nervously. Almost, Sean, I'm just waiting for my new logo to be finished. Everything's branding these days. It's so important. Now, at this point, I'm thinking, mate, by the time that you're done, you'll need a new bloody headshot because you'll have aged 10 years. Meanwhile, while John's waiting for the stars to align, I'm seeing other coaches out there with a dodgy selfie and a PayPal link and the confidence to just get going. And guess what? They're already signing clients and making money because they didn't wait for brand photos. They didn't wait for a perfect website or some fancy new logo. They just put their foot down and they simply started moving. That's the difference. If you're always waiting for everything to be perfect before you launch, you'll quite simply just be waiting forever. That's why the next mistake I see people make is waiting for conditions to be perfect before they take action. However, the next big mistake is even worse, and it's something that I used to do all the time. And honestly, it baffles me now when I look back. So picture this, you're about to go into a surgery and the surgeon strolls in late, jeans and a t-shirt on, and he says, I'll just see how I feel today, might freestyle it a bit. Or imagine hiring a lawyer who says, I'll look at your case, but I'll do it when inspiration strikes. I'm more of a kind of, go with the flow kind of guy. Now, if you're anything like me, you would be out the door before they have finished their coffee. Well, the truth is, I was basically doing the same. And maybe you can relate too. I was telling myself that I was all in on my coaching business. But then when I looked at my actions, they didn't quite match my words. One week I'd post content every day, absolutely locked in. The next week, no posts, no activity, just nothing. Basically, just showing up whenever I feel like it. It felt like I was building up some sort of momentum. But if you've ever done this, you know the truth. Nothing's really moving. There's no system, there's no consistency, there's no real commitment. And here's where it gets really frustrating. I started asking myself, would I ever hire a professional who acted this way? Absolutely not. But for some reason, I thought I could just wing it as a coach. And maybe you've been there too, treating the business like a hobby and expecting serious results. But it's not the freestyle in itself that was the issue. It was the message that I was giving myself by doing this. Every time I played small, every time I showed up half-assed, every time I avoided structure or just treated my business like a hobby, I was just lying. Not just to my audience or to my clients, but most importantly, to myself. Because the next big mistake is if you treat your business like a hobby, that's all it will ever be. So I'll ask you what I had to ask myself. Are you really all in? Or are you just dipping your toe and hoping for the best? Now, even if you are truly all in on your business, there's another mistake that quietly kills more coaching businesses than people realize. So I remember being at this networking event years ago. You've probably been in rooms like this too, just full of coaches, consultants, other business owners, everyone dressed the same, talking the same, just blending in like beige wallpaper. And I'll be honest, the first, I kind of played along. You know, when you're trying to sound professional and polished and all nice, and you don't want to upset anyone. Well, that was me. And guess what? Because of it, no one remembered me. No one followed up with the conversations that I had. I basically left that room just as invisible as when I walked in. But the next time I went, I stopped giving the safe answer and I actually said what I thought. This time, it was different. You've probably done this too. Just dropped the filter and said the thing that everyone else was just too scared to say. And yeah, of course, some people don't like it. I had a few eye rolls myself, but here's what surprised me. A few people actually perked up. They wanted to talk. They wanted to learn more about how they can work with me. So why did this happen? Well, it's pretty simple, really. It was because I stopped trying to be everyone's cup of tea and I became someone's shot of espresso. And that's the thing about being different. If you want to be remembered, you've got to accept that not everyone is going to like you. And trying to please everyone is the fastest way to blend in like every other coach. So the goal isn't to be liked by everyone. It's to be loved by the right people, the ones who actually get you. That's why one of the biggest mistakes that coaches make is being too scared to stand out. Now, learning to stand out can be quite hard, but if you want to learn how to stand out as a coach so that you can get your first 5 coaching clients, then you really need to click this video here.